listen, we apologize for the bumpiness. I am driving right now, so hopefully I keep everything safe, which I am doing. If you can see, I'm not looking at the camera. So this video is a little bit raw. It's a little bit more rugged. It's a little bit different than what we usually do. So we hope you like it. We hope you enjoy it. Happy Friday!
What's going on, guys? It's Nick here and Shalice here with F.O.F Financial Coaching LLC, and we're here today to talk about what else?
Money.
As you can see today, we are driving. We're in a new location, and my husband decided to take me on a little trip, a little drive. It's my birthday today. At the time of this recording, it is, and it's also election day. So, yeah, we thought we would take y'all along with us on this little journey, you know? So what are we talking about today?
All right, listen, the topic for today is how being debt-free has actually impacted our lives. And so sometimes, you know, when people think about being debt-free, you think about all of these dreams, all these things are going to be accomplished. And we talked about that in the older video, one of our first videos we did together. And that video was... I don't remember. What was that video? It was called Debt Free or Debt Something.
I'll link it above.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure. I don't remember what the name of the video was. But anyway, that's not that important. I think what's important is how it's really impacted us and, you know, why we decided to go that route. So, honey, I don't know how you feel like being debt free has impacted you so far and us overall.
As a whole, I think, like, for me, it's really been a big impact. Being out of debt has really impacted us in a way that just our family, like, let's just go ahead, let me just tell you. Okay, so we got out of debt immediately. After we got out of debt, we were able to rebuild our emergency fund by God's grace. And then literally after we did that, I started having health problems. And so I eventually ended up quitting my job, and we have been living on one income as of 18.
It's been about
2018.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years.
Yeah, we have been on one income, and so it has greatly impacted our lives, my life. I thank God for my husband, and you know, him being able to continue on and still have his job during this time, especially during COVID. And
so I mean,
yeah, it's been a huge impact.
Well, thank you, honey. I appreciate that, and I think it's important to say, like, how that has been on you. Like, has that been a stressful situation just for you, and not working and not having a job? Has that been real stressful for you? How have you taken that?
It has been really stressful in the sense of, like, just wanting to contribute financially to my family. I know that I'm able, by God's grace, I am now capable of contributing in other ways, like cooking, cleaning, and all that stuff. But I would like to contribute financially to our family, and so it's been difficult, I think, to take that role of not contributing in that way for me. So it has impacted me, and right now but you know what? It also has impacted me, though, in a way that instead of finding any kind of job, you know, at this time, I'm able to kind of make a job what I want it to be.
So yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that makes sense.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, honey, and you know, you can be more selective in what it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
But I think overall, with the impact of how, you know, being debt free, and what you're saying is, I think one good thing and a blessing that came from being debt free is that, you know, you don't necessarily have to work, right? And if the roles were reversed, you know, God forbid, and I was unable to work, or it wasn't working and you were working, I wouldn't necessarily have to work for us to pretty much sustain our lifestyle as it is now. Now, mind you, our lifestyle is not crazy, you know, out of the ordinary, you know what I'm saying? We're not going on trips every week or anything like that, but I think that we do live comfortably, you know, by the grace of God, and I think that that's an important thing. So for me, the difference was, and the impact was, is that a lot of that financial pressure is not there. Yeah. You know, so a lot of those stressors and things that we tend to have, we tend to feel, they're still there, just us as people. But I think that as far as from a financial standpoint, it's not as stressful. So I know with you not working, for you sometimes you may feel a certain way about it.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily because of the money. It's just because of what you feel like, your contribution is. And I don't think it's light in any means. I mean, things that you do.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that either. Sorry. Yeah, no, I agree. It's not light. I think just for me personally, like, that's just something I want to be able to do. Yeah, I don't know.
And I think that as far as for the time, like now, there's time for you to figure out what it is that you do want to do. You know what I'm saying? There's time that you can now sit back and figure it out, let God speak to you, and I think that's great to be in that position. It's a blessing to be in that position. So for anybody out there who feels like, they don't want to go the debt-free route, they're always going to be in debt, well, you just got to look at how do you feel with that pressure or that burden on you. You know what I'm saying? How do you cope with that? Because some people will say having pressure on them makes them perform better. I mean, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. That's not for me to say. But I will say for me, it's definitely helped me to perform better, because it's just not pressure. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to. It's like one less thing I have to quote unquote worry about in that way.
I mean, I also think that that makes me think about the impact of how if we were in debt right now and I did not have my job, I was experiencing these same health issues. I don't know what life would be like, what that amount of pressure would do to my husband, what it would do to our marriage. I mean, it's been a really good thing for us to be out of debt. And I was not on board at first. I was really not on board with this. But God has really allowed me to be able to see what he was doing, because I had no idea. There were days I was praying God, what are we doing? This is hard to get out of debt. It's a lot of work, and it made an impact. But God showed me this impact is been really good for us, in our family.
Yeah, and I think that for me, I think the other thing about it is it's the way that the decision that you make to set up your lifestyle. We never really set up our lifestyle that we'd have to depend on two incomes. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of mine or hers or whoever. We always kind of set it up so that it would be one, and then maybe you get some more luxurious things on the other one. But really making sure we're saving, making sure we're doing those things so that hopefully when we get older and we can retire and it's not really that big of a deal. But I say all this to say it's everybody has that choice to make. You know what I'm saying? You got that choice to make. I got the choice to make. And as far as leading your family, whether single parent, whether married, whether whatever it is, you have the choice to make that's really going to affect a lot that what goes on with you. And so my challenge, I would say, is that how are you setting up your life right now? You know what I'm saying? Are you setting up your life that if it's like a house of cards, if one thing goes bad in your plans, everything falls apart and you have nothing left? You know what I'm saying? Or are you setting it up that where you have some type of contingency? You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's important, because we didn't think that this was going to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't think that my wife was going to be out of work. Sometimes I sit back and think.
This is not my plan. This was not my plan in life. If you would have told me this, I wouldn't have believed it.
Right.
I wouldn't believe it.
It's probably why you was why are we doing this? Why?
Right.
I didn't know. I just felt like, hey, the Lord's telling me we got to do this. I didn't know either, but this is the way that it ended up going for us. You know what I mean? And so now that we're here, sometimes I think man, we could be a lot further along had she still been working, had she still been doing that. But I have to step back and say to myself, you know what? The reason why we did what we did was because we had to prepare for this time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For this time of famine, for this time of, we don't have as much. And when I say as much, I don't mean as much money coming in. Now, mind you, we are well taken care of. We are very blessed. I am grateful for that. But it's just kind of we don't know what's going to happen. So you got to set it up in those terms of, okay, what happens? What do your plans look like?
Yeah.
What are they foolproof? Do you stress test them? You say, okay, if you lose your job, or if this happens here, or if this goes there, what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? Am I going to depend on credit cards? Am I going to depend on payday loans? Am I going to depend on something else in order to get us to the next level? Because more than likely it's not going to help you get to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And so even for me, I feel like we are we're not stagnant, but I feel like we're moving slower than what we could be moving, but we're still progressing. And so to me, that's what's important. I think that that's great. And as long as we're progressing, I really can't complain. I had to learn that contentment is such an important thing, about being content in what you have and being content in what God has given me. And so the more I learn contentment, the more I'm okay with it. Although I still want to do my best and strive for more, is that being content is, hey, I'm grateful for where we are right now.
Right, and even in that contentment, me too, I've had to learn how to be content in my contribution to my family right now. You know, this is not what I imagined. It's not what I wanted my life to look like. At all. Point blank and period. This is not it, but I have had to learn to be content where I am right now, and, you know, realize, like, take my hand off the wheel. God is definitely in control, and he's leading our family, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm learning to just be thankful, really. Go in this process, really just be thankful, and thank God for my husband's leadership in that area, area of finances, and, you know, setting us up, because who knew? So I guess my takeaway, you know, for today would just be like, you know, are you setting yourself up today for tomorrow's possibility of failing? I don't know. You know, what are you doing today that will benefit you tomorrow? Or, you know, are you making wise choices today that could potentially impact your family later on, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, those are good things, honey, that you stated. And I think I have, like, a different way. I think that, you know, being debt-free has impacted me. It's more of, since we don't know the future, since we don't know what's going to happen, my thing I think about is, for me, I would rather not have the extra stress or the extra worry for debt and just doing what everybody else does. Now, I'm not saying you got to do what we did. I'm not saying that you have to, you know, be the same as us. But what I am saying is that how can you get to where it is that you want to go? And for me, this was a part of the journey and getting to where it is that we want to be, was being debt free. And I think that it was a good decision, and I also think that was something that was moved by God. And so being moved by that and doing that and kind of being obedient to that, I think we will really reap the benefits later on, you know, if the Lord says the same. But again, who would have thought that this would have happened to us? Who would have thought that, you know, we were in a situation where everything did not pan out how we thought and how we imagined it would pan out. I know it didn't pan out how you thought it was going to pan out.
No, this is not my life,
It definitely did not pan out how I thought it was going to pan out. But I can say that I'm grateful that we did put in that work prior to, you know, you kind of having some of those medical issues or whatever. And so now it's like we got the time to kind of come together and then build up from that. We're not starting, I mean, even if we were starting at zero, that's better than starting at like negative 100. And anytime you're in debt, you're at a negative. Like, that's really what it is for the most part. And so, again, however you want to structure your family, however you want to structure your household, you know, we pray that it goes well for you, and we're not trying to judge or anything like that. But at the same time, try and think 5 to 10 years down the road. You know what I'm saying? Because you just want to try and put things in place and develop that plan so you can get to where it is that you want to be. And so the question then becomes, is what you're doing now helping you to where it is that you want to be? And so I feel like we've said that before, but I think it's worth repeating. So we appreciate y'all. And thank you. That's pretty much what we got for y'all today. We hope y'all enjoyed it. And of course, happy Friday!